Hello, welcome to the interview here on France 24. Endless queues, hours, days, months, years spent watching the clock in dark and dreary waiting rooms. Arrogant administrators, humiliations at every turn, a nightmare bureaucracy straight out of Kafka. Welcome to the world of the asylum-seeker in France. It's a parallel French universe that my guest today, Mana Neyestani, first discovered when he arrived in this country in 2011. He was an Iranian refugee fleeing an oppressive regime at home. Now, the obstacles that followed inspired Neyestani, a talented cartoonist and an illustrator, to write and draw a self-styled guide on how to become, and I quote, the perfect political refugee. It's an illustrated book that paints a portrait of a hellish system using humor and his insider's know-how. Welcome to our studios today. Mana Neyestani, you know, when I read your book, I really came away, I didn't know whether I should laugh, it's very funny, cry, or shout. You begin, I just want to show our viewers, we could put the image up, of two images of two Parises, right? There's the romantic Paris of tourists and cheese and great food, and then there's the asylum seekers Paris. It's a different world. Most French know nothing about it.
Yes, you know, in that pictures came to my mind when I tried to get my titre voyage after all the process finishing. You know, the last thing is to receive your travel documents. You know, and I was in the prefecture police in Cité. You know, and it's a center of the touristic area of Paris, you know.
Right.
And something came in my case. I cannot remember, some mistakes, some errors came, and it wasn't my fault at all. And oh my God, I was under a lot of pressure, and I was about to cry, and I got out of the place and saw the happy tourists that have no idea about my experiences inside the...
It's like a culture shock, as they say.
It was a shock. I don't know which kind of shock. It was a shock to me. And so I got the idea of that picture, that comparison from that moment.
And what's interesting here is you arrived here in 2011, as I said. You are an artist and illustrator. You got your asylum granted relatively quickly. You were actually, among asylum seekers, you were a lucky one. Many people wait much longer.
You know, person to person, it could be different. It could be different story. I mean, story of asylum seeking process in France or other countries. Yes, I can say that I was a lucky person. My case was clear, quite clear. I had you know, strong evidences, and I got
evidence of
my case, to prove my case that I am, you know, qualified for being a refugee. So I got my positive answer after probably 2 or 3 months or 1 month. You know, it didn't take that much time for me, but the whole process, the bureaucracy and everything took something around more than 1 year.
It's incredible because a big theme of your book is waiting and waiting and waiting. And I think our viewers could see a picture of you. One of them is you're sitting with a ball and a chain attached to your foot in a prison cell. And the other is you're I think that's the one staring at the wall and the clock.
Yeah.
How much time did you just spend waiting?
You know, waiting is a refugee seeker, is an asylum seeker thing. You know, it's common thing, and we well trained in Iran for waiting. Actually, probably it's not only the matter of refugees or refugee seeking. The administration is a big problem here in France.
In general,
in general,
French administration,
even for you know, ordinary regular French citizen here. And I'm familiar with this situation and terms also because I came from Iran, and I can say that we adopted the administration system decades ago from France.
Right.
So more or less it's the same, but seeing the original one, the original French bureaucracy,
it's
something else.
You come from Iran, and then you get to France, and the bureaucracy is worse. We see our viewers just are seeing on the screen a picture of your character buried under papers, just buried. And one of the points you make is after you are accepted, even after you get your refugee status, that's when the real trouble and paperwork begins.
Exactly. I don't know why or how it happened, but I think the French people really love papers and paperwork and gathering papers. So it's something, yeah. You need to have everything, and most of the time they lose your cases, the papers, the letters, and it takes more time, you know.
Mana Neyestani, what if, like me, you're a really disorganized person? You can't keep anything in place. If you lose one paper, right? So what? You lose one paper, what happens? You go back to square one?
Oh my God, it's tragedy. You know, I'm really rely on my wife. She's much better than me. If I was alone, I'm so disorganized. I'm so messy. So it could be a catastrophe, really. Probably sometimes you need to restart the process. Yes.
What about the people you had to deal with? I know they're not all arrogant people or mean people, but I get the feeling so much of your process depends on the mood that the person is in, the administrator.
You know, it's not the matter of person. It's well said that the bureaucracy has no face. You know, it's a system, it's a labyrinth, it's a maze. And people, sometimes they are good, they are well-intended, sometimes they are not on the mood, you know. But when your destiny, when your fate, when your life depends on person mood, I think something's wrong.
Because you have, and I don't think we could show our viewers this one, but you have one picture which shows you and another refugee sitting at the bottom of a building looking through the window. And it's, I think, an administrator having a fight, maybe with her partner or something. And you said, tomorrow's going to be a very difficult day in the asylum office.
Exactly. Your life depends on somebody's mood, situation, and everything. So it's really hard, so difficult.
The theme of numbers, you're constantly taking numbers. You're just a number in this system, right? You're not a name, you're a number.
Especially in Perfecto Police, you really feel it. You know, it's always been an interesting subject for me. You know, being dehumanized. You know, losing your identity as a human.
Dehumanization.
Being. Yeah, dehumanization. Exactly. It was something that happened to me when I was in Iran in prison, and after that, even in the you know, free world, you face it in different formats. In format of the bureaucracy, in administration, in asylum-seeking process, in labyrinth of the, you know, perfector and everything. You have no name, you have no identity. You're just sitting, you know, among other people. Everybody has a number in the hands.
And you have a very funny part where when you get your your health insurance card in France, the carte vitale, it's a 15-digit number, right? And no, I'm not sure if we have the picture, but you have people walking on the street, not with their faces, but just with their health insurance number in place of...
A bit pessimistic and philosophical, probably. Yes, it's more than...
But it's so true. Yeah, I remember getting my health insurance number. You really feel proud. You memorize that number.
Yeah.
I'm just going to show our viewers. Your book comes with, this was your publisher's idea, you were telling me. I'm not sure if we could see this. This is the, what's called in French, the titre de séjour. It's the residency permit. This is everything, isn't it? When you have this, you're okay.
Yeah, yes. One of the things that you really need this card, and it takes time to get it.
And once you get it, it doesn't mean you're a totally free man, so to speak. Can you travel freely now?
Of course, no. As a refugee, it's not easy to travel. You need to have travel document, titre voyage, and titre voyage just work for the Schengen zone. For out of Schengen zone, you need to get visa, and you need to take more waiting lines and waiting, filling the files.
So it creates more and more problems. Every step where you succeed, there's a new series of problems created.
You know, this is the destiny of a refugee. It's the refugee life. Welcome to refugee life.
Yeah. We have almost no time left. I just want to mention that you told me shortly before we went on air, you are working on a new book right now, a new comic book.
Yes.
And it's not here about the French system. It takes place back in your home country, an incident involving a serial killer in your town of Mashhad in 2000.
Yes, I saw a documentary about a serial killer, Iranian serial killer in 2000. Around 2000, he killed something around 16 prostitutes, street women, because he was a religious person and he thought that he is doing good job to clean the city of God or something like that. I really got interested in the subject, and I decided to start another graphic novel about it.
Mana Neyestani, we've unfortunately run out of time, but we'll look forward to your new work. Your current one is only in French. Hope it gets translated in English. It's called The Petit Manuel du Parfait Réfugié Politique, sort of a how-to guide for asylum seekers here in France. And it's not an easy process, as our guest has told us today. Thanks for being here, and thanks to all of you for watching.
Thanks for having me here.